Hello and good morning. um, I've been meaning to do this for a while. I have been sharing a lot about my personal struggles with anxiety and depression. And one of the most beautiful things that's happened is that I have met people and I have rediscovered and friendships. Um, because of the stories I've shared about myself. Why is this important? Representation matters. Very many women who present as strong and having it together. Many of us who are quite often the life of the party, very outgoing, very confident, public speakers, multi talented. We usually go through our struggles alone. And there's a lot of shame attached to needing help, and even more shame that comes with asking for help. I had an episode, like a proper panic last night, in a friend's house when I thought of leaving his house to go to the supermarket, which was 5 minutes away. I'm laughing because now that I'm like calm and energized and well rested, it's funny. But the thing that made me feel accepted was the fact that no one in the room, there were two guys in that room, no one acted like I was being weird. Like, I was just like, like, I needed to sit on the floor. Because I was anxious about leaving. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go to a supermarket. It's full of people. I have to speak in German. And my German has gotten pretty good. Like, I'm able to make small talk with a taxi driver. I'm like, who is this person? But part of that is masking. When I panic, even when my hands are shaking and I'm commenting on something in class that I'm very passionate about, after I try talking myself out of it, sometimes my hands are shaking and my voice is shaking a little, but I sound like I have it together, and then my thoughts disappear. So, like, now I've made a point to like write things down, to remember them, or to actually say, I had a thought, like out loud, and it started with this and then that. And that's now been accepted by very many people in my circles as how Sharon communicates. I am incredibly grateful that I am surrounded by very open minded people. And we have, like, when I say we are from literally every part of the world, it's like from parts of North Africa and South Africa and East Africa and West Africa. We are from Asia, we're from like the Middle East, India. We like there's so much representation in my class. And of course, we're also from Europe. So, like, and then the amazing thing is we have people in their early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, 30s, and 40s, all the way to 50s. And most of the people we've interacted with are between their 20s and their 40s. And that sort of representation allows us to have very interesting conversations. And we don't mind having house parties, and we've had really great classmates who've been open to hosting us, and we wind up just talking about our different cultures and about the things we miss and about the music we grew up listening to. And there's something incredibly magical about being able to meet people from parts of the world you've not had friends before. And also, even though you've had friends from those countries, people are different. And so I remember a big highlight for me is that I grew up listening to Lingala music, and that's from Central Africa, around the Congo region. And um, one of my closest friends now is from originally from Nigeria, but has been in Ukraine for 10 years. And so he played Lingala music at the party, and I knew the words. Like, I I was so excited. I got up to dance because it took me back to my childhood. And I wasn't the only one singing. Like the other Africans in the room were singing. And then, of course, the question comes from like the Canadians and Germans and the Mexican. Like, what is this? Is this a thing? Like, and so a friend from Nigeria is like, yeah, it seems in Africa, all our parents listened to or played Lingala music when we were kids. And so, like, when you hear raga one paga o langele langelewa, like we lost our minds when like the playlist, the algorithm, I don't know what happened, and that song played, and of course Koffi Olomide and Madilu System. I mean, like there was something so beautiful about that. That is unity in diversity. It makes me incredibly happy to be experiencing that here in Germany. The irony. So, I was talking about anxiety, but I was also just focusing on the fact that representation matters. And when you hear people say it is incredibly empowering and it brings tears to our eyes to be able to see a black Ariel from The Little Mermaid, my grandfather had the privilege of going to London to study. He came back with certain English British habits. Very many of his brothers and stepbrothers said he was a white man, the way he behaved. He believed women had a right to education and should be empowered and explains this. And I joke a lot about being a white girl. I mean, I love mushrooms and potatoes. I'm vegetarian, predominantly vegetarian. I like to do yoga and exercise. I have locks, like no, locks is a black person thing, but I don't know if you get what I mean. I am going to go out and say it. Very many of my guy friends, like those who are my close guy friends, especially from back home, have told me that I am a prime target for white guys. And I found that very disconcerting. One, because I'm a feminist, and secondly, because I'm a black supremacist. I love black people. And I've only dated black, so there's that. And I have a lot of fear towards white people and anxiety around them because of what I have consumed from media about how we've been treated historically and currently and the world over. And now as a minority in Germany, like and in a conservative part of Germany, Lower Bavaria, that anxiety is legit. I've sat in a coffee shop with friends and next to a group of white people who made a racist slur. And the person who caught it was our white friend. Well, he passes for white friend. And he called it out like he was really upset. And my therapist has me challenging my core beliefs, some of my negative core beliefs I have. Good, positive ones. I have some negative ones I need to work on as I work towards dealing with and managing my anxiety. So I don't like crowds. I especially feel uncomfortable around crowds of white people. Now, back home, being in a crowded place sometimes, not always, but sometimes meant, especially in the CBD, lower town, uh, lower CBD part, meant getting your phone picked out of your pocket, having your wallet pulled out of your jacket or something. And like that has actually happened to me. And I have been hijacked in Nairobi, just right outside one of the biggest hotels in the country. And this is uptown. I just got into a public vehicle, thought I was going to the CBD, and I was with a girlfriend, and we just wound up going round and round. And we were in a vehicle full of thugs, and they took money from us. And that was in December, 23rd of December, 2015. That has stayed with me. So I don't like small, closed spaces. I don't like being in crowds. I don't like it when someone bumps into me because a number of times people have bumped into me in Nairobi. They have unzipped my backpack. They have opened up a zip somewhere on something on me. They've pulled out my phone from somewhere, a compartment in some of my clothing, or my backpack. It doesn't happen to everyone, doesn't happen every day, but it does happen in certain parts. But then I've also been to the coast of Kenya, Malindi, where every time I want to hold on tightly to my bag. I remember this happened in Mombasa. Someone literally looked at me and said, "You're safe here." In Swahili, perfect Swahili. Ah, uko sawa hapa mama, tutakuibia. And this person could tell, yeah, you're okay here. You don't have to worry. We're not going to rob you. They could tell that sort of anxiety was very characteristic of someone who did not come from the area. Now, this is me dispelling myths. Really, I just woke up. I had an idea. I'm shooting a video. Bear with me. I had a certain idea of Germans in my head, and now I'm living amongst them, and that idea is changing because I woke up a start. Like I was like, nope, I'm feeling too well rested for someone who turned in after 2 a.m. And I look at my phone and it's 8. Was it 8:50 or already 8:21? I remember 8:21 was stuck in my head. My appointment was for 8:45 at the visa consular, whatever, what do you call it? Landratsamt. It's immigration office. 8:45. I live about 35 minutes is up to about normal, so maybe 40 to 45 minutes away from that office on foot. There are no buses that ply this route, at least not directly there, as far as I know. There's no train. I see the train from a distance, but yeah, it doesn't, I can't board the train. There are no stops, so I hate to call a taxi. Now, this place is so off the grid. I may be exaggerating, but it's so off the grid. My shopping trips take 35 to 45 minutes one way. That's why I do this like once a week, once every fortnight, as far as I can, but also what fruits and vegetables stay fresh for 2 weeks, right? So I remember thinking, shit. Then I thought, what can you do? Fact feeling. And this is, some of it is inspired by New Amsterdam. I love the shrink on New Amsterdam. Like, he calms me down. And then I think about what my therapist said when I called her, and she called me. I was super anxious. She called me. She's like, Sharon, it sounds like you're going through a depressive episode. I was struggling to get out of bed. I hadn't slept for a full night in weeks. I was out of it. My memory is a mess. I'm feeling unprepared for exams. I've deregistered from 4 out of 7 so far because I just feel completely incapable. And there's stuff that I could remember a few weeks ago that I don't remember anymore. And it's not for not wanting to study. I'm trying. It's just not working. And no, it's not laziness. So this is very out of character, but I went to the bathroom, took a sponge bath very quickly, brushed my teeth, left, got dressed. While getting dressed, called a cab. They said they were 20 minutes out, meaning I was going to get to my appointment 5 minutes late. 5 to 8 minutes late. I got there 10 minutes late. Expecting, honestly, in my heart of hearts, to be told, who do you think we are? Do you know how many people we need to serve? You know what I got instead? Smiling people. I apologized for running late, and they were like, "Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Go to this building, blah, blah, blah." And by then, I hear German better than I speak it. I just go to the next Gebäude, the next building, da, 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 and I go, cool. They ask the guard to walk me out and show me exactly where I should go. He makes sure the door is open for me because the person inside sees someone they recognize. And I'm like, hello, my Name ist, my name is Sharon Ogugu. I had a termin for 8:45, an appointment for 8:45. I'm so sorry I'm late. And he's like, it's okay, come in. And he's nice. He explains everything. He's like, look at everything. If you have a problem with what we've given you, you have up to 4 weeks to come back to us, write to us, come back to us, communicate your dissatisfaction. My visa has been extended for a little over a year, like a year and a month. I am not complaining. I'm so grateful. And he's pleasant. And I'm like, okay, let me look at, and I'm rushing. He's like, it's okay. Just, it's fine. Take your time. Do this. You need a bunch of signatures. He speaks to me in English when he realizes my German is not great. The taxi guy was so nice. The one I got who took me to hospital was the one the old man who picked me up. I told him, ich bin schon spät. And he's like, oh, you're already late? Then let's hurry. He stepped on it. We got there in good time. When we got to the red lights, he was like, scheiße, like shit. And I was so happy that he was joining me in my panic, and he opened the door for me, and my God. So be careful what energy you put into the universe, you guys. Manifest good things. They happen. I've been talking about getting a year-long visa for a while. And this is not of my doing. This is not even me taking glory from God, because who is God? He's the one who got this done. But I was having a really crappy few weeks. My health has been a shambles, like my physical health and my mental health. I went to hospital. My hemoglobin is at 8.1. So, of course, 8.1, 8.2, I felt like a sham. Like 8.1 grams per deciliter. Like, Sharon, I mean, come on. You're a health coach. You know these things. And then I started taking stock, and I realized, yep, those calcium-rich dairy products, aka cheese, that you're taking with your leafy greens, blocking the uptake of iron, on top of having gotten on birth control and bleeding for 5 weeks. The first month you got here, the first month you got your period, and because you got an implant, a few days before you came to Germany, and the fact that you have ADHD means you actually forget to eat. The fact that you have OCD, which is relieved when you do repetitive things such as cleaning, also added to the fire. So I've been sharing this on social media, Instagram specifically, and my WhatsApp status, a few things here and there, a few video clips from New Amsterdam, what I'm watching, and the response has been overwhelming. I'm not saying I get 1,000 comments, no. I'm just saying when you get up to 10 people writing you, because that's 10%, a little of under 10% of the people I reach with my WhatsApp status messages. When you get up to 10 people writing to interact with you and telling you this spoke to me, oh, by the way, me too. When you get people inboxing you on Instagram, friends you've not talked to for years, or friends you talk to up until, like every so often, not every day, or friends you talk to every day who actually tell you, babe, you're not alone. When I first came to Germany, I cried. Oh, by the way, and for weeks, I also have days when I can't get out of bed. When your friends across the pond are telling you, I'm also struggling. I have a job, I have a great husband, I love my kids, I'm happy, I'm financially stable even in this economy, but I'm still sad. Then you feel like there's nothing really wrong with you. Then you stop shaming yourself for not being okay. Then you learn that it's okay to not always be okay. Then you start listening to your therapist and start keeping a record of the things going right in your life. You start keeping a records of the time and keeping records of times that men have proved you wrong and have wound up being not assholes. Like wind up being nice people. People who invite you to their place to just hang out, eat, listen to music, chill, talk. And then you realize you also still have strong female bonds, and you're incredibly grateful, and that your friendships may be changing because of distance and time, and priorities do change. And then you become okay with it. And then you become okay with who you are. And that doesn't stop you from striving for better. And then you realize that you're inspiring people to do better and be better. And life is beautiful. and you have a reason to go on. Not everyone deserves your vulnerability, by the way. There's certain things I reserve for just my closest friends. But the one thing I've learned about putting myself out there, and especially my what I considered and kind of still consider personal feelings, is that it sometimes gives other people, especially those who look up to you, because I am also a youth mentor, it gives them permission to realize that, wait, she's human. Wait, I'm human. And also, welcome to the human experience. That you'll be okay on some days and you won't be on others. You can be sad, and that's fine. You can learn to cope with your struggles. It's okay to get into therapy. And as my therapist says, you can learn to use your brain as it has been rewired by trauma and your your lived experiences. You can learn to use your brain the way it is, and then work towards changing some things, and then rewire your brain, because God gave us neuroelasticity, meaning you can learn a new habit and unlearn an old one. It will take time and it requires consistency, but my God, it is worth the try. My first therapist used to say, there's pain in change and there's pain in staying the same. So choose your pain. Choose your pain. Mwah.